Hello everyone, it's Jay, and today I just wanna do this little chatty video. It's about a bunch of topics that have been on my mind lately, basically, and that's it. So if you're interested in some random topics, you probably kind of know what some of these topics going to be according to the title of this video, and let's get to it. But first, okay, so today is the first kind of autumnal feeling day. It's very much the like twilight season, if you know what I mean. If you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. And it feels really good. So I was super excited to finally, after the hot ass summer season, to have mug of the day. I even have a new mug that I got. It's like spooky and it's so cute. But we don't have clean running water right now because we have him some problems. So I cannot even make myself a cup of tea. But luckily we have an energy drink today. We're on the Monster Ultra Blue, which is supposed to be like sugar free. I don't never know what the flavor is supposed to be. Maybe like blue raspberry or blueberry, something like that. But I really do like this one. This is my fifth attempt of trying to start filming this video, but universe is not wishing well on me today. But hopefully it's gonna work now. So I just wanna mention my hair first because I was wondering about the hair color I'm gonna go for and so on. And I was talking about this in the Lego Obi-Wan Kenobi's Starfighter, but I ended up cutting out most of that chat because I was not focused on my speaking and neither was I on the building. So let's just mention it now. And I did this very random thing because I actually like hair colors right now and I need to order myself some new, but I don't have the money yet. So I have to order myself some hair colors, but I don't have any yet. And I was like, I'm just gonna wait to do my hair once the hair dye arrives. However, I could not take it anymore. My roots were crazy. The rest of my color was super faded. But I did have some bleach, so I bleached my hair, and then I put the like purple conditioner mask that they put with these kind of box bleaches, and it worked really well. And it's like silverish. Yes, the sides are a bit more classic blonde, but the ends are like super silver, almost whitish. I don't know how well it shows on the video because my lighting isn't the best today, because suddenly there's no natural lighting, so I just have my tiny ring light. But you can sort of tell the intention of this hair color, and I thought it turned out so beautifully that I'm just gonna keep it for a while. I'm really feeling it. I think it's super cute, and yeah, so I'm excited about that. And I just feel so refreshed after having new hair. The amount of times that I have had the realization of, oh, I'm not ugly, I just needed to do my hair. But yeah, that was not the official topic that I wanted to talk about. So let's get to the official topics that I've written down here in my notes. I have it on my phone this time, and not in my trusty notebook, but that's fine. And the first topic I have is feeling my age. And I've talked about this before, but lately I've had many interesting conversations about this actually, and I think it's really fascinating. And I'm not necessarily talking about whether I'm mature or immature or whatever, but the whole point of, or whole thought of feeling my age. What the fuck does it mean, right? So I'm 25 now, and when someone asks me like, do you feel your age, like your age, and I'm like, yeah, I guess I do, because this, I am 25 and this is what 25 feels like to me. So yes, I do feel my age, whatever that means. And yes, at the same time I do have very like, I guess, youthful, childish kind of spirit, and my body might feel like I am actually 90 years old, but overall I think I do feel like 25. And it's really like, what does it mean? Because this is my first time in my life being 25. And also the whole thought about like what's considered old and what's considered young is like really weird to me, because I've been thinking about this, and the older you get, the younger the old ages feel. So like when I was 15, I thought 30 was old, And then you think about it, I was like, yeah, because at that time, 30 is twice your life twice. 30 is 2 times 15. Well, my math skills are great. And of course, it feels like an like really adulty old age. And when I turned like around, I think I was around 21, first of my friends turned 30. And that was the first realization when I was like, oh, 30 is not this like image, very specific image of an adult that I had in my head. What is 30 is this friend of mine. He's 30 and he's just like the rest of us. That's, you know what I mean? And just having the realization, oh, yeah, because 30 is not as crazy of an age anymore. And now at 25, 30 is like around the corner. I go to school, right? So I have two of my youngest friends now are 19. So I have two 19-year-old friends. And every time I'm like, I'm 25, you know? And they'd be like, but you don't look 25. You don't feel 25. You don't sound and act like 25-year-old. And I'm going back to but what does a typical 25-year-old do? Watch My Little Pony? Maybe not. Maybe that's not the average, but it doesn't mean it's a thing that 25-year-olds don't do. We'll be talking about our next birthdays, right? And they'd be like, oh my god, I'm turning 20 in a bit. I'm like, yes, around that I'll be turning 26, right? I'm like, that's an insane age. You're so old. And I'm like, that's so young though. What do you mean? That is a really young age. 26 is super young. It's not even my 30s, and now I'm feeling in your 30s that you're really young. I go to my like social rehab kind of place, and we have group therapy and or all sorts of things that we do there. And we also chat about these things a lot. So we were talking about this, and it's interesting how the 40 years olds talk about this, and how us like in our 20s talk about it, and people in their 30s talk about it. People are in their 40s be like, oh yeah, when I was 20 in my 20s, that's so young, I'm getting so old now. And I remember this thing my grandpa once said, and at this time he was around 90, right? And he was asking about my other grandpa from my dad's side, and he was like, how old is he again? Because we were celebrating like his birthday on the weekend, and I was like, yeah, he's like 60. I don't want to lie about the age specifically, but let's say like 68. He's going to be 70 soon. And I remember him saying, oh, 70. When I was 70, that was really cool. I was so young at 70. And I had a real like mind blown realizing, oh yeah, because guess what? Life really doesn't end after 30 or 40 or 60 or whatever. Because then there was my grandpa who was like saying, oh, life was really good when I was 70. I felt so fresh and all. And I was like, that's so cool though when you think about it. And then you realize it's really about the point of view. So I may keep joking about how fucking old I am, right? But I really do mean it. It only jokingly matter, especially if my back hurts, which it always does. But like, you know what I mean. So I'm gonna keep making joke about being old, but actually I don't feel old at all. I feel really young, and I feel like in my 30s I'm still gonna feel fucking young, you know. And then in my 30s I'm gonna think, okay, but like a 50-year-old isn't actually that old as I always thought. Right now 50 seems like a lot to me, but I know my opinion will continue to transform as I age, you know. And I don't know, I think it's a fun topic, and I think more people should really not enjoy their youth. That's maybe not exactly what I'm trying to say, but like being grateful for the age you are. Because why would I be sad about not being 20 anymore, or fucking 19 anymore, or 18, you know? I feel like I don't want to be 18 anymore. That was shit. Let's not go there, but let's not go back there. I'm glad I'm at the point of my life when, even though it might not seem like that, I'm so much more put together as a person, and I know so much more, and I've grown some thicker skin over the time. And I'm glad I, even at school, even though I might be the oldest in class, I'll be like, I'm glad I'm doing this at 25 though, because if I were 19 at this time where I was studying this, I could not do that at 19. I'm glad I am me now with my experience and with my age, you know. So I guess that's all the whole thought about this. And I don't know, it's a cool topic. So my next topic is very random because I actually just added it yesterday to my list of topics because I completely forgotten about this, and it is the fact that I now have been over 4 years on T, and it's interesting because you don't really think about this stuff so much anymore, and each year or half a year it becomes so much more insignificant to you, and it feels like, yeah, that's just what we've been always doing, that's what it is. Ugh. And I don't really think about this stuff anymore, which is so cool that I don't have to think about this stuff anymore because there's nothing of a rapid change so much anymore. After year 4, I don't think you're really getting any changes unless you, I don't know, start to body build or whatever, which is not what I'm doing. And even though, yes, my body completely changed the fat redistribution, and that took quite a lot of years. I don't think it's doing much anymore, like since last year. I guess the only change that it still really does is I grow more and more facial hair, and that's about it. Because I think I have a lot more facial hair than I had last year when I was filming my 3 years on T. But like this time, I don't even feel like filming video about this anymore. I think it's just pointless at this point. But just a cool thought that I completely even forgotten about this until yesterday, because I was actually going through my old videos here on YouTube, and I was like 3 years on T. When was this? And I was like, oh, it's September. It's been over 4 years on T now then. And yeah, just fun stuff. And I'm super glad that I could have gone on T 4 years ago, and I'm gonna keep on doing that and taking T. My third topic, I'm gonna go very quickly through this, but let's talk about Linkin Park for a bit. So Linkin Park now have a new singer. Her name is Emily Armstrong. And in my opinion, she just sounds really good. She has very strong vocals. I think she kind of fits well with the style of the band. And of course, there's like a lot of negativity out there about this. And we were talking about this with Max, and I was like, on TikTok, Max has got TikTok now. What, like, oh my God, he's got TikTok now. What am I gonna do? And he said that he's seen mostly positive stuff on TikTok, but on like I'm on Instagram, and I went through Facebook, and people are super negative about her like being absolute shit at singing, or her being a shit person. And I might admit I don't know much about this, but apparently there was some drama about her supporting some not so good guy and other stuff, but apparently she disclosed this all, and it actually wasn't true or whatever. That's from what I heard. I haven't done my research to the depth, but let's just now talk about the new singer. First of all, I think it's, of course, it's about opinion. You might not like her, you might not like her singing, and I think that's fair because everyone likes different things, and you can't really do much about it. However, I think a lot of people say she's a shit singer just because, well, Chester's not there anymore, right? And I think that's so stupid. And even if you have such negative opinion about this, just don't comment it. Why? And also, I may not be professional like fucking vocal coach, right? But you're lying to yourself if you think she doesn't have a strong, powerful voice. I think she sounds really great. That's what I wanted to say. But I think a lot of the negativity also comes, well, every time a band changes members, especially if it's the singer, there's gonna be so much hate towards them because they're not like the previous singer, right? But of course they're not. They're a different person, and everyone's singing voice is just very unique and different. Of course, she's not gonna sound like Chester. I think the band really has taken like very respectable pause and break with the band, and I think they waited long enough, and I'm like super happy for them for like doing this again. And Mike Shinoda was talking about like the fact that he wants to sing more, not just rap, and I'm super excited for that. And let's be honest, the new song just slaps. I really love it. I think people are just gonna be mean about this because, as I was talking about, change of the singer especially. However, imagine the shows to fill in after someone like Chester Bennington, who was like really special, and also the way he tragically passed. That's all I wanted to say about this topic specifically. Let's move on from this. My next topic is health update, because of course we have to do these. And I'm strictly talking about physical health right now, not mental health. I finally got gastroscopy, I guess it's called in English, and colonoscopy, because my stomach is just getting worse and worse by the time, you know. And once it starts, and sorry for TMI, but once you start shitting blood as well, it's really like warning sign, like something's real bad in here, you know. So I finally got my colonoscopy and gastroscopy again, and it was really traumatizing at the hospital. Like, the colonoscopy and so on by itself is actually the least of my problems, but the hospital was complete mess, and I was having like anxiety attacks, and I actually cried. I cried so bad, and I rarely ever cry. I usually drop a tear when I'm watching Lilo and Stitch, you know. But other than that, if I cry, it's usually because I gotten into a really overly stressful situation to me, and I'm used to being stressed. I'm stressed all the time, but like this was overly stressful. When I'm overly stressed, I cry, and I was crying the whole time. It was really bad. I don't want to get too much into depth into that, but it was just traumatizing. Okay, let's just leave it there. And I just didn't need more medical trauma, you know. What the results have been is that I'm actually fine. No, because I did years back, I got diagnosed with like functional dyspepsia, which is the general term for like stomach bad. And what it basically means that your stomach doesn't function the way it's supposed to. No shit, Sherlock. Ha, shit. And it's because it's really irritated, and that's all they seen, that my stomach is just really irritated from something. But I did not figure out the cause of this, and I thought it was gonna be one of these problems. I thought it was gonna be related to these problems, because I know a bunch of other people who have IBS and refluxes, and I have none of those, even though I have basically the same fucking symptoms as them. So yeah, they ruled out reflux, they ruled out IBS, they ruled out Crohn's, which on, like, when you think about it, that's like nice, like that I don't have that. But at the same time, it was devastating, because I was like, well, I'm still in pain 24/7, and I cannot eat food as a normal person anymore at all. But I don't know what the problem is still. So like, now what? Except I do know what I'm gonna do now, and the next step, because they said that if I'm still having these, but it's not a like gut issue, and if the stomach is only irritated, that's what they saw, then it's either some really bad food allergies, or it could be an autoimmune disease of a different type that just caused me this, or a combination of both, right? I'm gonna go to immunology and allergology, because then it could also have something to do with my other symptoms. And since there's no visible problem in my gut or whatever, it is probably related to something else, which makes me think of my other symptoms, like the chronic pains and so on. And it turns out it might be all connected to something completely different than I thought. And it's a bit terrifying, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a bit terrifying, because, well, on one side, I'm worried that they're just not gonna find anything, which you might think sounds great, because like, you're healthy, congratulations, but tell that to my fucking body, right? Because my body feels sick, and I'm in pain, so I need to do something about this. And if they don't find anything, I'm gonna be like, okay, now what? I'm just gonna die, I guess. I'm just gonna wait this to fucking put me down, I guess. And the other thing I'm scared of is that they find something pretty bad. So, not ideal either, right? So I'm just a bit worried, not gonna lie. I'm a bit worried, but I also know I should not overthink this. And for now, I can be at least, like, I guess, glad that I know what it isn't. And then late September, I'm also gonna go for another like health examination, I guess. And this one will be related to, and now we're getting more to mental health kind of stuff, and that is like sleep laboratory, where they actually focus specifically on issues with sleep. And I have slept like a normal person, well, never probably, but it's been bad for the last fucking 10 years, right? So I do take antidepressants that help me sleep, so I can sleep all night, but I still have extreme like sleep inversion. I've taken medications for this as well, but like they were making me too sleepy, which is the whole issue with medication, because it's never 100%, and I still have a lot of nights where I just do not sleep at all. And without pills, I would never sleep again. I think I would just die. Uh, but then when they add more medication to it, I'm getting too sleepy over the day and I cannot function throughout the day, because I function better if I am on 2 hours of sleep than I was functioning when I was on 12 hours of sleep, but I was still too sleepy on the pills. So like I do have quite a good medication that makes it, doable most of the nights, but then like there's the inversion, and then there are the nights that are still fucking sleepless. So I hope I figure something out about that too, but I don't know anything yet, and I don't know, maybe next time I'll make another health update, but I don't know when that will be and when I will find out anything properly. So yeah. So it's the beginning of a school year, and this time I graduate, and I'm not enjoying it so far. I've already been overly stressed. Also, the first week has been really rough because I also been at the hospital and was off for like 3 days of my life, So like that was an interesting beginning of school year, and I got all the stresses like pulled on me at the same time. It was not great. But yeah, school year, not super excited about this. I'm trying to not to think about it as much. Not because I want to be really irresponsible, but because I just want to save myself some psyche, because I'm gonna go crazy if I overthink it. So I'm just taking my time, I guess, and I need to, especially now at the beginning of the school year, I need to like slowly flow in, but it's getting me a bit stressed, not gonna lie. And with other stuff happening, the health stuff and other stuff, life stuff that I'm not talking about in this video, just happened all at once, and I got really stressed. I'm gonna have the final exams this school year. But I also realized weirdly that I'm gonna actually have a prom. I'm gonna go to my own prom. That's weird, right? Isn't it? Like at this day and age, I would not expect to still go to my own prom at some point, and we already have it in like 2 months. That's crazy. They usually have it like around February and March, and we just have it so early on. So it's even weirder, and I absolutely cannot like fathom that fact that I'm just gonna have a prom. That's so weird, but I guess kind of cool that I am, after all those years, gonna go to prom. That's really weird. I already picked out a suit. I got some online, so when it arrives, I hope it fits. Because if it's gonna fit, I'm gonna be so happy about this, because it was such a good price, and it includes also like a new tie and everything, and it's gonna look really good if it fits me well. Of course, I measured myself and it should fit me well, but suits are pretty expensive, right? But that's what I'm gonna say about school right now, because as I said, I don't really want to think about this, and I want to really take it step by step so I don't go crazy. And if I disappear off the internet, it didn't work and I went crazy, I'm sorry. Since I've been talking about suit, it actually has something to do with the next topic, and that's like clothes sizing. And if you know Shaba here on YouTube, she's made an interesting video about this. It was about like plus size section and like fat fashion, I think it was called. But she generally talks about sizing and stuff, and it's really interesting because especially for women, and women's section are really fucking vile. Let's be honest, it's crazy. What the fuck is happening there? I thought men's section was kind of great, but kind of crazy. But this is insane. Like women's section clothing does make 0 sense basically. And she was talking about two like marketing strategies where they're like change up sizing, either to like bigger or to smaller, and both are strategies for the customer to just buy more, because it either makes you so happy that you fit into a smaller size that you tend to spend more money in their shop, or the other way around, it gets you so depressed because you now have bigger size, and you also tend to spend more money then. And it's crazy. It's all just about marketing strategies. They just want to get more money out of the customers, which I guess makes sense. Even in my wardrobe, I have sizes from extra small to extra large, and I'm still the same size And some of the extra large clothes is fucking smaller than a medium, so it makes no sense. I mean, to be fair, I only have like one hoodie that's an extra large, and it's like from Asia, and Asian sizing is a completely different concept. So ironically, also when I went from women's section, that's super confusing, and I was trying to find myself like in the middle or bigger sizes, I guess. And now at the same body is just like finding things in male section, and suddenly I have difficulty to find something small enough and have to go for size small or extra small. And it's really weird concept how the sizing works. And then again, in every shop, the sizing is different anyway. And that's because they do keep changing the sizing, and it's really ridiculous. And I think we all like women's pants. Let's talk about pants from women's section. That's insane concept, right? And I grew up at the time back in the day where I was still wearing pants from women's section. Never could find the right size of pants, but also like no one ever around me could find a good size of pants for them. So there's literally no wrong body type for this, because no one in any size can find themselves a good pants. Because my problem was that I was either too short, so often the legs of the, but that's a problem you can solve. But also I have a bit of a like thicker leg, and not even my thighs. I have small thighs. I have big calves. That's just how my body is built. And when I was buying, especially with skinny jeans, I guess, and a lot of them had absolutely no stretch in them. So I could not find skinny jeans that could fit over my bigger legs, I guess. But then when I had to pick bigger sizes, they would be massive everywhere else, but I could fit them over my legs. So that was like crazy. And I'm honestly so glad I don't shop at women's section anymore. And if you're a woman and you're worried about shopping from men's section, I'm encouraging you to go shop in men's section. It's so much nicer, and a lot of women actually find that pants from men's section fit them better. Maybe it might not work if you're like very like hourglass shape, I guess, but at least give it a try. I promise you, it's probably gonna change your life for the better, and you're gonna have pockets. And then the last point to this topic I wanted to make, which is also from Shaba's video, and it was like that we should actually not name sections for like normal, mid-size, and plus size. And this thought was all about like how if we make more of the sections, we're just excusing companies from having such tiny selection of clothes. Because now we can say they just don't have a mid-size section, they just don't have plus size section. But in reality, there should be like from small sizes to big sizes, because people are so vastly different. And if you want to hear more about this and hear it from someone who can speak about this better than I, go watch Chaba's video, because it's really interesting. So next topic is really interesting, and I was just thinking about my neurodivergence. Once again, my neurodivergence was questioned. I'm officially diagnosed with ADHD. There might be some signs of autism and other stuff. Let's just maybe not talk about this, because it's nothing that I know for sure. Then I'm also like BPD. Yeah, surprise. Which is also always endless debate whether that's being neurodivergent or not, or whatever. But like overall, I'm a neurodivergent person, right? And since I've been talking to my like social rehab and talk to people about their problems and their little things, more people started suggesting to me like, are you like dysgraphic? Are you, whatever, dyslexic, dyscalculate, whatever? And I was like, I was always kind of joking about this, because I heard this from more people for a longer while. I was always like, yeah, might as well. But now when I actually started having debates about these things, I was like, yeah, might as well, because fuck, that sounds like me. And at first, when I really started think about this being actual possibility, I was talking about this to this one girlie in our like social rehab that goes there, and I took some studying, and we were talking about math and all that stuff, and I was like explaining her, yeah, I have pretty good grades, but like I have these weird issues with math and everything. I just miss out letters and I keep exchanging them and I keep missing out parts of the letters and numbers and so on. I just I don't know. And she was, don't you have like dysorthographia, which is like what I got is a specific subtype of like dysgraphia. I was like, nah, I guess not. Like, I don't really know what that is actually, because I realized I didn't really know what that was. Uh, and she was like, yeah, my daughter has this, and you're describing exactly what she's having. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then I also been studying a lot with Max's mom because she really helps me with studying. And she was like, yeah, you're probably some sort of dyslexic or dyscalculic as well. And I was like, really? Really? Is that the problems that I have with this? And so actually, was it yesterday I decided to do online quizzes, because that's the first thing you do, right? You have to do online quizzes, and I did myself the dyscalculia, I'm sorry, and dyspraxia quiz. I was so surprised, and I was like, wait. And um, even though I already made all those quizzes, I wanted to take one here again, and that's the dyspraxia one. Which shook me probably the most actually out of them, and there were some questions that really surprised me. I'm now looking at the page like exceptional individuals. I never heard of it. I don't know how good or bad that is, but take it with a grain of salt because it's only online quizzes and it's for my own interest, right? So I'm supposed to say my name. So I have Ryuk on my t-shirt, so I'm gonna be called Ryuk. I'm gonna do this quiz under the name of Ryuk, because why the fuck not? The first one is like, Ryuk, do you have the following? This can be diagnosed or self-declared, and is dyslexia, ADHD, ADD, autism, dysgraphia, dyscalculia, none of the above. And even though they say you can be like self-diagnosed, I guess I'm only gonna, for the sake of argument, I'm only gonna go with ADHD because that's what I'm officially diagnosed with. Are you ever clumsy? Are you awkward in movement and in handling things? I bump into things. I'm full of bruises. I just cannot walk straight. I have these issues all the time, but I don't want to like overdo this, so I'm not gonna go with almost always, but frequently, because I really want to be like smooth about this. But realistically, it's basically all the time. Do you find that you do some things with things left-handed and other things right-handed? And I'm gonna say sometimes, but I don't think that's anything unusual necessarily. I think that's just what people do. Even though I'm really clumsy on my right hand, I still use it for certain activities. Like, yeah, that's a thing. But I was like, that's what everyone does, you know? You have your domain hand, but then like use the other hand as well. I'm left-handed, by the way. Do you have difficulties throwing and catching even with large ball? Almost always. I'm just horrible. I was bad at PE. I was terrified of the ball for a long time, and then I realized like I sort of started learning catching it better if it's a really big ball, but throwing it much worse. I cannot do it, and I cannot do it. Are you more sensitive to touch than other people? This is also called tactile sensitivity, and yes, almost always. Do you find that you forget tasks easily even though you learned it the previous day? An example is forgetting a book you read the day before or the name of the film you saw. Almost always. My memory is shit. But that's the thing I was thinking about, like, isn't this just ADHD thing? And with other stuff, I think, isn't it like human thing? But I guess not completely, because it wouldn't be as typical as like so much everyday stuff for me, because that's what I do all the time. Do you have any reading and writing difficulties? I'm gonna say frequently, because as I was saying, I really do miss out the letters, I morph them together, and so on. Is your handwriting messy? Almost always. Terrible handwriting. I mean, I say it looks good, but is it really readable? Let's be honest, no. Do you get lost easily when meeting at a new location? Do you find yourself unable to find your way, not knowing your whereabouts almost always? And they're just talking about new places. Like, I'm fucking new places. I get lost at all places that I've known for my whole life. So that's the thing. I have awful sense of like orientation. Did it take you longer to learn to tie your shoelaces than other people? And this really shook me because I was like, what does it have to do with anything? Yes, a lot longer. I could not tie my shoes for a really long time. And I thought that might also have something to do with the fact that I'm like left-handed and people could not teach me properly. I don't know if it might have something to do with that, but I was like, yeah, I was really slow at learning how to tie my shoes. Do you have difficulties in answering simple questions even though you know the answer? Almost always. I cannot. I can, yeah. It's like, what's your name? And I'm like, Ryuk, I guess. Do people find you hard to understand certain things? Almost always. Yeah, almost always. Have you ever had difficulties with phobias and obsessive behavior? I'm just gonna go with sometimes, but I don't really want to talk about this. That's a whole other thing to unpack. You get frustrated and impatient very quickly, and more than one would expect with daily tasks. So I almost threw a tantrum because I could not get this video working. Almost always. I'm a crazy bitch. How do you find certain activities such as riding a bike or dancing? And I'm gonna go with difficult. I can dance by myself at home, but I also lose my balance all the time, and I even fucking fall down when I dance around the house. And I was my dad really likes biking, and he would always try to take us on like biking trips, and I would fall every single time. Every single trip, I would just break my fucking mouth, fall on my butt, scrape my knees, all of this every single trip. How do you find keeping good body posture? You see me right now, right? I'm like, yeah, I cannot do this. So very difficult. I cannot do it even on purpose at this point. And then they want email address, which I'm just gonna put on my email address and say okay, but they actually show you the results right away. So I'm gonna submit, and they say this is not an official diagnosis, blah blah. However, you have signs consistent with dyspraxia. Basically, they tell me like I should initiate further testing and so on. I was wondering like, oh, like, yeah, at the same time, like, does it have point to get diagnosed at any of this at this day and age? I have no idea. Like, when I think about it, I really fundamentally do want to know as much about myself as I can, but I'm also like, I'm just bigger to this. I don't wanna overthink it. But I'm sorry if the angles changed a bit, but I had to delete something off of gallery to fit the rest of the video in here. But I'm gonna try to keep it a bit shorter for the remaining part of the video. I never thought about this, and it just makes me think like neurodivergent brains are fascinating, right? And in both autism and ADHD, 28% of people with it are left-handed compared to the general population when it's only 10% of people. So that's really interesting, I think. And let's just keep finding out more about my brain. And if I ever stumble upon this topic again, I'll actually try to get tested. But I don't even know if they do that for adults, and I don't know if it's worth it at this point. Like at my last year of school, like I could get 10 extra minutes throughout my exams. I don't know. And that's basically it for this video. I have just little topic written down here, but I don't have much to say about it. And that's just Beetlejuice. And yeah, the second Beetlejuice movie is coming out, or it's come out already, but I haven't watched it yet, so no spoilers, please. But we're probably planning to go to the movies with Max to see Beetlejuice. We both love the first one, especially Max. He's really, really obsessed. I even got us these like matching t-shirts with Beetlejuice. I have this Beetlejuice pillow here, and the t-shirts have the same design as this pillow. So yeah, we have matching t-shirts, and I'm excited to go to the movies to see this. Also, I don't really go to the movies because it's gotten pretty expensive, but we're like, we're gonna do this thing. We need to go to see Beetlejuice at cinema. And I was like, yeah, we need to do this. Sometime this month, we're also gonna go to Prague to see the exhibition of Tim Burton's creations. So I'm really excited about that. We've been putting it off for a bit because I don't know, there was never the right moment, or we didn't have money, or whatever, or we are doing something else throughout summer. But luckily, they have it till the end of September, so we need to finally do that. And we're gonna go see Tim Burton exhibit. I'm really excited about this. So that's what we're doing throughout September as well. And then I don't know if this was like November or December, but we're going to see Beetlejuice the musical. And I only seen one musical actually live. So like this is gonna be a whole new thing for me, and it's gonna be really enjoyable. Max is obviously a huge musical nerd, and I love live music and theater, and this is gonna be really exciting because I never like went to theater much, and it's gonna be really interesting. And it's fucking Beetlejuice, so I'm excited about this. So we at least we have some things to be excited about this time of the year. But I've already been talking for like a fucking hour. So I'm gonna finish this video here, and thank you so much for watching. If you watched till this point, feel free to like comment about your opinions to any of these topics or your experience, whatever it is. And if you wanna, you can like this video, you can share it with all your coolest friends. And till the next time, bye.